This is the Savvy Investor radio show and podcast with Mike Kinnett and Ryan Herbert of ProStatus Financial, now celebrating 20 years helping families build successful retirements and lasting family legacies. Mike is a financial planner and estate planning attorney with a master's degree in tax and 4-time Amazon best-selling author. Ryan is a 5-star Wealth Management Award winner and top-ranked financial advisor by Forbes. Now, the Savvy Investor radio show and podcast.
You've done a great job of saving. Now, how do you make your 401k, your 403b, your TSP pay you in retirement? We're also going to hear from Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary, who says, get this, you're going to need $5 million to retire. Is he right? We're going to talk to Ryan about that. And, of course, it's tax season. Sitting round of applause there. Of course, we're going to talk taxes, because Mike and Ryan, they're here for you each and every week, and their goal for the past 20 years at ProStatus has been to grow, keep, and distribute your wealth in the most tax-efficient manner possible. Welcome into the Savvy Investor Radio podcast and now on YouTube. Ryan, how are you? It's great to see you.
I'm doing wonderful. Had a nice, relaxing President's Day weekend, not as relaxing as you, though. You were down in sunny Jamaica being all nice and warm, and I was up in the mountains being cold and windy and all that kind of stuff. But, different levels of fun, different levels of relaxation. Well,
I tried the snow skiing, and it just didn't work out for me. The only powder I like is right next to the beach, and that is sand. I'm good with that. It's a lot easier on the body. But no, doing well. So it is tax season, so we got to talk about that. And now as we're enjoying the lowest tax rates that we'll most likely ever see in our lifetime, and this is something that you and Mike and your team at ProStatus talk a lot about, the lowest tax rates that we've ever seen in history that we're enjoying right now. And most of that is due to the Trump tax cuts passed in 2017. Bad news about that is going to expire by the end of next year if Congress doesn't do anything. I want to play this clip from tax expert Ed Slott. He told Morningstar that it is an opportunity right now, a great one for IRA to Roth conversions. Listen to what he had to say.
Remember, a lot of your IRA is a debt owed back to the government. Your IRA is an IOU to the IRS. Your IRA is a joint account with Uncle Sam. But here's the difference. With a regular joint account, you generally own half. You have a joint account with Uncle Sam where you don't know what his half will be. That's yet to be determined based on how much money the government needs at the time you take that money out. Now you do know what the rates are. You're in control.
It sounds like we're in a joint account with Uncle Sam, but we don't know what our part of the bargain is there. How do you feel about that?
Ed Slott, he provides a lot of great information. Now he's calling himself a tax expert. He's, kind of the self-proclaimed IRA expert. And I agree with him that, you do have a silent partner in the IRS. Mike and I have been saying for years and years that you have this silent partner and they own 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, maybe even 40% of your IRA. And, just like Ed was talking about, you don't know what that number is until you go to withdraw that money. And, you have some control over how much of it you're giving up to the IRS, because if you're smart or you're working with an advisor who thinks about the tax aspect of it, when you call them up and say, hey, I want to take out $20,000, $30,000, they're going to explain to you, all right, you take out $30,000, here's what it does to your tax return. You take out 50, here's what it does to your tax return. Not only do they tell you, do you sit down with a tax professional and figure out exactly how much money on that IRA that you're going to pay, but how that money is going to impact the rest of your tax return. How much more of your Social Security are you going to pay tax on? How does that affect any capital gain income? And, the one thing that pretty much everybody ignores is how is it going to affect your Medicare premiums? Is it going to take you across that next threshold and increase your Medicare premium? And if you're talking with your advisor or you're talking with your tax professional and you're mentioning, hey, I think I want to take money out of my IRA, what should I do? And their answer is, if your advisor is saying, well, you need to talk to your tax professional, or, generically speaking, we recommend 20% for the Fed. And if you're in Maryland, 7% for that, you're not really getting that customized financial planning. You're not working with an advisor or an advice giver who's really thinking about the taxes and kind of the overarching ramifications. So, I would encourage you to give us a call at 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040, and sit down with Mike, myself, and our team here, and we'll go over your very own tax planning and Roth conversion analysis. Because, as Ed said, and as Mike and I have been saying since 2018, it's still a good time to do Roth conversions. There's never really a bad time to do Roth conversions if you share the belief that taxes are going to go up in the future. And, this is something that we do for our clients every day. And I've got hundreds of stories about this. And, my favorite one is about Bonnie. And, unfortunately, Bonnie recently passed away. So, the joy that I would get from doing her taxes every single year and seeing her reaction of being so happy, that's gone now. I'm not going to get that. But, essentially what we did, like I said, there's never really a bad time to do Roth conversions. It's just figuring out the proper amount, because when Bonnie came to me way back in 2013, this is the path that Mike and I set her on. She came in. She worked for T. Rowe Price. She wasn't on the financial side. She was in, information technology. She had a lot of money in her 401k. She had about $1.5 million in her T. Rowe 401k. She had about another $500,000, $600,000 of T. Rowe Price employee stock. She had some stock that she inherited from her mother. She had inherited IRA. So she had money in all these different buckets. And when she came in and she sat down with me, I said, all right, Bonnie, congratulations, you can finally retire. Because number one, she thought that she was never going to be able to retire. And, at the end of it, when myself and the team were sitting down and kind of reflecting on Bonnie after we heard she passed away, we gave her 12 years of retirement of that happiness. But what we had done when we sat down was we made sure that she had all these different areas where money was. We started her on a tax plan, figuring out, here's how much money we need to convert every single year. Here's how much money we're going to take out of the inherited IRA. Here's how much money we're going to take out of the T. Rowe stock. Here's how much money we're going to take out the inherited stock. Here's how much money is going to come out of the 401k. And then here's your Social Security. What we were doing was layering the income on her tax return to get her to the point where eventually she would be at 0% taxes. And for Bonnie, and this is one of those things, I encourage you to call the office, 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040, if this sounds attractive to you. For Bonnie, she wanted to have right around about $105,000, $106,000 worth of income coming in every single year, which, that's a great number for anybody to have. That number's really dependent upon anybody. Mm-hmm. But the last year when I did her taxes, 2022, and I'm going to do her taxes again this year, but she had about $110,000 worth of income coming in, a little bit under that. But altogether, between the IRS and state of Maryland, she paid $986 in income taxes. That's not zero, but that's about as close as you can get. She was, ecstatic with that fact that every single year she'd come in and she'd be like, all right, how much do I owe? $900? Here's a check. Send it off. That's great. And that is the importance of tax planning, working with advisors who understand the tax ramifications of everything that you've saved and how the income works in retirement. Because if you don't work with those advisors and you're working with one of those big box stores or somebody who, whenever you ask them about taxes, the answer is, well, I can't really talk to you about that. Or, go talk to my buddy Tim, who's a CPA down the street. I encourage you to give us a call at 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040, because if you don't plan properly when it comes to taking money out, just like Ed Slott says, you could be giving 20%, 30%, even 40% of that IRA, of your 401k, your TSP, your 403b to the government just because you didn't have the proper plan in place. I have seen it time and time again. When people come into our office and, they want to figure out what they did wrong for taxes, and Mike and I are sitting down and we're going through everything and we're saying, well, you took this massive distribution out in, 2020. Tell me what happened there. Oh, well, I said I wanted to buy a house with my retirement account, and I talked to my CPA and I talked to my advisor, and they just said, oh yeah, just withhold 20% and you should be fine. But then at the end of the day, not only did I owe more money than what they said I was going to owe, now all of a sudden, because my income is so much higher, instead of paying, $197 or whatever the number was for Medicare, now I'm paying $400 a month for Medicare. So not only has my taxes gone up, but my overall cost of living has gone up because my advisors, my tax person was not thinking about that entire picture when it came to my taxes. And that is the difference between myself, Mikey, and our team here at ProStatus, is that we do true tax planning analysis for all of our clients. There's never a bad time to start thinking about taxes in the future because they can only go up from here. I believe they're never going to go down. Give us a call, 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040, and get yourself on the right path for taxes and retirement. Give me a call and let me know if you want to have that Bonnie plan. Hopefully we can get you down to 0% taxes in retirement, because if we do that, we don't care what happens to tax returns because 0% is 0%. 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040.
Again, that's 866-597-1040 and online at thesavvyinvestorradio.com, thesavvyinvestorradio.com. If you've saved $500,000 or more for retirement, hey, congratulations. Now is your time to make sure that you have a tax strategy, a tax plan for your retirement. Call it the Bonnie Plan, if you would. Call in and set some time up with Mike Kinnett, with Ryan Herbert, and the team at ProStatus Financial. Again, that's 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040, and online at thesavvyinvestorradio.com. It's now available to you on YouTube. That way you can watch us doing the show. You can also get some great information, and make sure to like, subscribe, but also, very importantly, share with your friends. That way they too can get this great information, and wherever they are in the country, you can do that as well. ProStatus, Mike Kinnett, Ryan Herbert can help you wherever you are in the country. And that's got to be a great feeling, Ryan, when you're able to help people no matter where they are. Of course, we're here in the Baltimore, D.C. area, but Florida, you guys have offices in Florida as well as all over the United States. So that's got to be a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, the reason Mike and I have the Florida office is, well, Mike kind of wanted to retire. So, being in the warmer weather, he kind of does more time in Florida than he does here. But, the natural occurrence for most of our retirees, there is the goal of becoming a snowbird or moving down to Florida for a period of time. So, naturally, a lot of our clients left Maryland. They left the higher taxes of Maryland to go down to Florida, kind of all over. We have them out in the Panhandle, the West Coast, the East Coast. And so we have our central office in Orlando, Florida, and then we have another office in Melbourne. But, clients don't just leave us here to go to Florida. I have clients South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania. I have clients that are retiring soon. Their plan is to move out to Idaho. I have clients in New Mexico, Arizona, kind of all over the place. And that's the great thing about technology nowadays is, you really can do anything from everywhere with e-signatures and Zoom. So, if you're listening in Florida or you're listening in Maryland, and you're just kind of driving through, don't be afraid to give us a call at 866-597-1040, 866-597, because we really, truly can help you even if you're out of state. And if you leave us, meaning you leave the state of Maryland because you're working with us here, we are more than happy to assist you in whatever state that you're in.
And I love that because now, like you said, with technology, not only can you, I hate to say do business, but yeah, I mean, that's essentially that's what you're doing. Folks are hiring you guys to help them with their retirement, but you can also learn a lot. There's a lot of information out there, of course, now with the podcast and with the Savvy Investor being on YouTube now. I mean, you could sit there and literally just watch us do the show, get to know Ryan, Mike, and Lawrence as well. That way you can make the best decision possible for your retirement and get educated, get informed on some great options available to you that you may not have heard of. As I said before, ProStatus is an all-in-one retirement shop. So, and that's important because you guys handle really everything under the retirement umbrella. Most of us have 401ks out there, and I'm also going to address the federal employees here in just a second. But usually what's missing is a monthly paycheck with what a pension provides. Those days are pretty much long gone. Dan Doonan, he's the executive director of the National Institute on Retirement Security. He explained on CNBC that it's up to us to make our money last. Listen to this piece of audio.
It's not really the 401k itself that's creating the inefficiencies. It's really 4/5 of the inefficiencies come post-retirement. When you leave your 401k and you need to figure out how to spend down, you have to be a little more conservative investing and how long you expect to live.
Seems that saving in our 401ks, 403bs, TSBs, that seems to be the easy part. The hard part, the frustrating part, comes when we want to retire and we don't know what to do with it.
Exactly. The majority of your lifetime, you were told, save money, put it away in your 401k, invest for the long haul, invest for the long haul. Well, the long haul is here. You're at retirement. This is the point of which you want to start collecting that income. And as you said, pensions really used to kind of help supplement the income that was coming in when you retire. Between pensions and Social Security, that pretty much handled a lot of it. But pensions are truly a thing of the past. There's very, very few private companies that still offer them. If you work in some type of trade, whether you're, electricians, plumbers, steam fitters, pipe fitters, those unions normally have pensions, but the single largest pension provider is the U.S. government. Those people have pensions. So if you're not one of the lucky few that has a pension coming in, as Dan was saying, it's really up to you to figure out, how do I create those income streams? And it's become such a problem that the Secure Act 2.0, the Setting Every Community Up for Retirement Enhancement Act, I'm pretty sure that's what it stands for.
Sounds good.
Yes. What it really stands for is the government securing an income stream for themselves by changing tax rates around. But one of the clauses, they changed a lot of things with it, but one of the clauses in there was that annuities now have to become an option inside of 401ks. And most people hear that word annuity and you turn the radio off, you think it's a sales pitch or you kind of freak out. But it's something that the TSP has been doing for years, where government employees would get their TSP statement. It'd say, here's your balance. Here's the funds you have your money in. Here's how well or how poor they did. But then over on the right side, they would say, if you retired at age 65, this would provide $1,802 a month or some type of number. But really what that is that's saying, if you took all your money and you went out and purchased an annuity, here's how much income it would give you. And what that's really doing is privatizing that pensions, because employers are trying to get all the responsibility off of them and defer that risk to somebody else, defer that risk to you, the employee, or defer it to an insurance company. So, when you think about how do I create those income streams in retirement, if you've been sitting down with your financial advisor and talking about retirement, and the answer has been, yes, you're going to be fine for retirement. Yes, you can retire when you think you want, but there's been no detailed steps of here's exactly how it's going to happen. I encourage you to give us a call at 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040, and sit down with Mike, myself, and our team here at ProStatus, and we'll put together your very own comprehensive retirement plan that includes that income analyzer that says, here's exactly where your income's going to come from in retirement. If you've saved $500,000 or more, I encourage you to give us a call at 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040. And I say $500,000 because that's really kind of where the power of the tax planning aspect really can show through. That's where we start to see the biggest savings on your income in retirement. What we're going to do is we're going to show you, by doing nothing, here's what happens in retirement. Here's the income. Here's how it comes, steps 1, 2, 3. And here's the taxes that you're going to pay. But then let's take that income a step further and figure out how tax efficient we can be. And here's the taxes you'll pay over your lifetime. And for a lot of people, we're seeing savings of over $1 million in taxes over their lifetime. That's a huge, huge number. But it all starts by giving us a call at 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040. Let
me give that number again, 866-597-1040. That's 866-597-1040. Also online at thesavvyinvestorradio.com. Again, that's thesavvyinvestorradio.com. They have made it very easy for you to not only get the information that you're looking for in retirement, but also to connect with Mike Kinnett, with Ryan Herbert, with Lawrence Kiley and the team at ProStatus Financial, and here, of course, at the SavvyInvestorRadio.com. Set some time up with them to go over your situation, because everyone's situation is different. You've heard that a million times, and you know that. But they treat you as an individual, and they take care of retirement A to Z. Again, that's 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040, and online at the SavvyInvestorRadio.com. That's the SavvyInvestorRadio.com. Ryan, you and Mike Kinnett always talk about taxes, that if we don't do anything, taxes could be your biggest expense in retirement. And we all have 401ks. We all have 403bs, TSPs, so on and so forth. We all have some type of retirement account. It seems, though, that no matter what we talk about here on the Savvy Investor Radio Show and podcast, it always goes back to taxes. Is that true? And is that the biggest thing that people are missing when they are planning for retirement? Because we all think, how much have we saved, which is a good thing. You need to have a lot of money. And then what's my 401k doing, and how's it doing?
Well, I was just looking over my shoulder here. There's that great saying, and Mike even wrote a book that says nothing is certain but death and taxes. And I was seeing if I had a copy of it behind me, but I couldn't see it on the glance there.
I got one here for those watching us.
But, taxes are such a big thing in retirement. Nobody ever thinks about the tax implications, because there it is. For some reason or another, there is a myth out there, and I don't know where this myth comes from, that once I retire, I don't pay taxes, or there's some magical age that at which point I reach that I don't pay taxes. But the government wants their fair share of your money. They've let you put money away in these accounts for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Avoid paying tax on it. Put your money in tax-free or tax-deferred, and it grows. Now's the time that they want to get that money out. And even if you don't take that money out, you're one of the lucky few that between, you're either living off your Social Security or from your other sources of income, or you have Social Security and a pension, that you're not touching your money. Mm-hmm. The government all of a sudden says, hey, here's a point in which you have to take money out and you have to start paying tax on it. And they don't make it easy, because they've changed the age 3 times in the last 4 years. And it's not a fun, all right, you just take the balance of the account, multiply it times 4%, and that comes out. They have a really cool table that says, based upon your age, here's how you figure out the number. And every single year it changes. And if you don't get it right, they charge you a penalty of 25% for messing it up. So not only do you owe taxes, but they whack another 25% on top. So, taxes are such a huge part of retirement, because like you said, everybody has a 401k, 403b, TSP, some type of retirement plan. 99% of those plans, for most people, all of their money is in that pre-tax version. Nobody's ever thinking about what's going to happen to my taxes in the future. I'm only concerned about my taxes now and paying the least amount of taxes now. But what Mike and our team here at ProStatus, what we do that's different is that we're planning for the future. We're trying to get that money moved over and as tax efficiently as possible, so that when you go to retire, when you're creating those income streams, we're doing in the lowest tax bracket possible. And if you're lucky enough, maybe we can get you down to that 0% tax bracket, just like we did for Bonnie. But it all starts by giving us a call at 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040, sitting down with Mike, myself, and our team here at ProStatus, and we will put together your very own comprehensive retirement plan that talks about taxes, that talks about the risk you're taking, that talks about your income, talks about fees, all the aspects of a financial plan that you need to have all in one place. 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040.
Here in the Maryland, D.C. area and Baltimore, we have a lot of federal employees that listen. And Ryan, you guys also work with a lot of federal employees. Is this also open for federal employees? Because they have a whole different set of rules when it comes to retirement, and you need to be working with someone who understands all those intricacies of the federal government and the federal government retirement system.
Absolutely. Because we're in the Baltimore, D.C. area, we have a lot of federal employees. We have a lot of federal employees that moved away down to Florida. There are some government contracts there, but Mike and I are very, very well versed in federal benefits because there's so many different iterations of kind of what you can do. Mike and I often go to government agencies and teach classes to government employees on here's how your benefits work. Just because you're a federal government worker, you have that pension, there are different rules that apply to you that you need to be aware of.
Excellent. 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040. Call now and make sure that you have a plan for retirement. And online at thesavvyinvestorradio.com. Again, that's thesavvyinvestorradio.com front page. There is a button that you can click on, the tax analysis button, and that'll get you with Mike Kinnett, with Ryan Herbert, and the team at ProStatus. And if you want to call in, we have teammates standing by right now to answer your calls. Savvy Investors, we appreciate you listening. As always, make sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and all the socials, as well as YouTube. We're now on YouTube. That way you can watch the show being done, recorded, and see Ryan's cool Hawaiian shirt that he has on today. I love it. Thanks again for listening, everyone. Ryan, thank you for your time. As always, ready to help us to and through retirement. And, got to wrap things up. But as always, you get the final word.
This is Ryan Herbert. Thank you for listening to the Savvy Investor Radio and podcast. And we will see you, the Savvy Investor, next week.
Advisory services offered through ProStatus Financial Advisors Group, a registered investment advisor. Insurance licensed in Maryland. ProStatus Financial Advisors Group, LLC is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if ProStatus Financial Advisors Group is licensed in your state, please call 410-863-1040. ProStatus Group, LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through representatives of ProStatus Financial Advisors Group.